5-star diamonds, super excited for this call today, especially because it's after Super Saturday. So I know you guys are super pumped and ready to drive in action to really finish the year strong. I'm so excited to have Breezie on this call today. Breezie is like my sister, and I say that because she lives in Idaho. I live in Idaho. So we kind of have this mesh thing that, Utah and Idaho just kind of collaborates together. And so it's super, super exciting because I see her beautiful face pretty much everywhere I go. I say that because she is a 5-star diamond elite coach. She's ranked right now 174 in the network. So needless to say, she'll be another elite coach in 2015, which is super, super exciting. She lives with her husband, Matt, in Idaho with her 2 adorable sons, and they recently just moved. But the one thing about this is she is going to speak about being vulnerable with your team and your business. And I know this year has been such a trying year. And on the outside, you would never even think it, like where you're ranked, everything that you have progressing within your business and on your team. But it truly has come down to vulnerability. So I can't wait for you to share this topic. I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to you, and you can tell your story and just go from there.
Okay, thank you. So I really struggled with the topic, and I felt like this topic was one that I might be able to address with you guys because it's something that I've kind of struggled with and had to really learn about. And I've thought a ton about this, and I have some notes, so I hope that something I say you guys can apply or, help your coaches through something maybe they're going through, and maybe some angle I share will help you in your business. And I would love you guys to jump in because I know as coaches, we go through all sorts of vulnerability, and there's a lot of things that we have to learn on this coaching journey. And it's just that I'm not an expert. It's a journey. So hopefully something I say you'll connect with. So I just kind of want to share a little bit about me. My journey, it started in 2012. I had my first little boy, and he was 9 months old. I hadn't dropped the baby weight. So I was struggling with that. I have Crohn's disease, which has become a huge part of my story. And I was just struggling with motherhood, drowning in it. And I found a challenge group, Shakeology, helped me with my Crohn's. And I connected with Brigitte Linford, who is my coach. I watched her build a business, retire her husband. I wanted that. And finally, when I was 5 months pregnant with my second little boy, I signed up as a coach. And I've been doing it ever since. Like Brittany mentioned, it has been a bumpy ride. I mean, last year I did finish as a 2014 elite coach, which was great. My team was psyched, we were pumped, but it didn't turn out the way I expected. I was, Brigitte said to her coaches that went elite, she said, some coaches go elite and then they'll drop the next week. And I was like, oh no, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be the coach that, shoots up. I'm going to be 15-star by summit, like no doubt. And I was the coach that dropped rank the next week after qualification. And I literally did not get that back. I didn't even qualify for leadership. I missed it by a week. So this year has been hard. And it took a lot of self-discovery. It took a lot of being honest with my team, being vulnerable with my clients about what I was experiencing to get through that. So honestly, my favorite part of coaching has been the personal growth. And that's why I feel like today's topic would be one I might be able to share better with you. Vulnerability is something I've had to learn and deal with in my business. And I have a tendency to be a perfectionist. So, like telling myself, I'm going to be 15-star. These are the kind of posts I need to make, or these are the kind of things I need to say and project to my team so they think I'm a leader. So these are the kind of goals I need to set. So I set the expectations high for my team. I'm a perfectionist, but I realized as I've been able to open up and really identify with where I'm at with myself, where I'm at in my business, my family, what I really am trying to achieve, and then share that with my team and my clients. It's just been a lot better. So just to, you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with Brené Brown. If you're not, I highly suggest a couple books, The Power of Vulnerability, Daring Greatly, and then this new one I'm really identifying with right now, Rising Strong. She talks about rising from a fall, being vulnerable, and using that to help us rise. So Um, Everything I learned from Brene Brown. So, and her on repeat has gotten me through a lot of hard times. So, all right. So first things first, we need to get honest with ourselves and identify our story. So, because then you're going to be able to, you'll be equipped to help your team do the same thing. And honestly, you guys, as a new coach, I started strong, sharing my story. I had my transformation. I was excited to build a business as a coach. I watched other coaches, do these posts. I watched, my coach, how she posted in the team page, the things she said. I would literally copy and paste what Brigitte said because I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, my team needs to hear this. My team needs to hear this. But I wasn't really connecting with what I needed to share with my team or what I needed to share with my clients. So I thought I was dialed in. I thought I knew what I was doing. My business was growing, but I wasn't being vulnerable. And so when I started to really struggle with my health, I realized I had fallen into this trap of being this cookie cutter coach. That wasn't me. My team wasn't identifying with me. There was just gaps. There was holes there. So I really had to dig deep and identify with my why. Why am I a coach? What do I want to share with my coaches that helps them identify with me and my story? What parts of my story do I want to share on social media to help people identify with me, to help my clients identify with me? Am I being real and honest in my challenge groups with where I'm at in my journey? And I know it's hard. Tara Carr, a couple weeks ago on the National Makeup Call, she talked about how she would put on her makeup to take selfies and, get all done up. And I know that's old news for a lot of us, but I think that we try to project that in a lot of different ways when we craft a post or when we're setting goals for ourselves or trying to speak to our team. It's easy to put on the elite coach jacket and, want to be this person up on a pedestal for them. And I mean, you do you earned your jacket, you earned your recognition, you did. But at the same time, you have to step down and level with them and let them know that, you don't have to be perfect to be a coach. You don't have to, coaches are real. We struggle. And people want you. They want to identify with you. So I'm going to kind of walk through a couple things that you can do and then just some questions you guys can ask yourself. So first of all, write down your struggles. And this has a lot to do with, I talk a lot about the power of identifying your story and then sharing that. So my story is I have Crohn's disease. I've struggled with that. And the second, I will tell you guys, it's crazy. The second I started sharing my story about Crohn's, I literally attracted 10 coaches to my team that all have Crohn's disease or family members with Crohn's disease. It's insane. And so you have to just identify your story and then roll with it. Share it. You never know who you're going to touch. Then your struggles, your trials. What were your turning points in your life? How did they shape you into what you are today? What's your coaching story? I'm sure at this point you guys have all got your coaching story down, but really, I feel like every time I write my coaching story or every time I share it on a call, some new angle comes out depending on the point in my life I'm at. And I'm able to use that with a different coach to identify with a new coach on my team or this coach that's going through this. So make sure, you really are familiar with your own coaching story, as funny as that sounds. What are your goals as a coach? What road bumps have you had in your business that make you who you are today? And then where are you at on your health and fitness journey? So, literally, this is building your story. So write this down, write these things down. Just ask yourselves these questions about where you're at in your business and your journey. Then ask yourself, are you sharing these things with your team, with your clients? Am I being honest with myself in all these things and truly identifying my story? And sometimes that's the hardest part, being honest with yourself, okay, am I really having a transformation? Okay, am I really eating the way I'm asking my challengers to eat? Am I really doing the 3 vital behaviors like I'm telling my coaches to do? Are my invites really being sent Am I really running a monthly challenge group? Whatever it is, identify with that. And then you got to, dig deep and be honest with yourself. And, like I said, once you know all this, make sure you're expressing it to your team. So your team doesn't want to see you all meddled up with your elite coach swag. They want to know what it took to get you there. They want to know the story. They want to know, in this book, Rising Strong, it talks about how we're wired for story. Like, we connect with story. So develop your story and then share that, because they don't want to see the after picture. They want to see the before and know the story that it took you to get there. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys just some times I've been vulnerable with my team. And maybe you guys have some of the same experiences and maybe you didn't identify them as vulnerability, but this is kind of how amidst this year, like, I don't know if you guys know what prednisone is. It's a steroid. I've literally had 4 prednisone tapers this year. I've gained, like, this year total, I think I've gained like 20, 25 pounds. Like, it's been an insane year. My business, I've grown. My business is still grown, like, through all these trials. And I really feel like it's because I've been open and vulnerable with my clients. I've still added people to my team. I've had some, great recruiting months. I've had low months, but my team has grown. Like, I have coaches still going for it. So these are some things that I've done. All right. So the first time, okay, so hold on, disclaimer really quick. So when you share with your team, make sure that you're not using vulnerability as an excuse and not to fail or not try harder. So always share like the big picture and map it out for them, because it's easy to hide behind vulnerability and say you're using, vulnerability, but it really just is an excuse. And I've seen coaches do that, to duck behind, and say, oh, I'm being vulnerable, so everyone, lift me up. But they're trying to put forth excuses. So use it to empower you as a person, build relationships, connect, and be genuine with your team. So, all right, here's my first example. So I had hit Success Club 10. I was on the road to be a Success Club 10 All-Star. I was so jazzed about it. Here we are at, 11:59 on the last day of the month, and I'm at SC9. So I had a couple choices. I could, phone mom and say, Mom, can you buy another challenge pack? Or I could just let go. I had the invites out. I had, I had put in work, probably not enough work because I was at SC9, and I missed it. I missed it. And so there went my SC10 All-Star. And I was sick about it. I was like, why didn't I push harder? I beat myself up. And then I was like, okay, stop. You need to use this as a lesson. You need to grow from this. How can I learn from this and grow from this? So I did this post in my team page. I was honest with them. I let them know, the story behind it, why I was at SC9 and what I've learned from it and how I'm real. I struggle. I have off days. I have off months. And they connected with it like crazy. And my SC base has grown all year. I've had coaches realize that if they don't hit it one month, they have to quit. It helped coaches identify that they could still grow. Another one I shared with you guys that I missed leadership by a week. I shared that with my coaches. I have a couple coaches, 2-star coaches, that missed some goals they were shooting for this year. That helped them identify with that. Like, okay, so what's she doing now? She didn't quit. She missed leadership, but she didn't quit. Like, she's not quitting. She still has these big goals. So what does that say for me as a person? Oh, I can do that too. If she can do it, I know her, I can do that too. Another thing, those of you that have hit elite, like, what did it take to hit elite for you? I have coaches come to me and say, okay, map out elite for me. What does it look like? Well, let me tell you, the last few months are a little bit crazy if you don't lock it in early. My laundry didn't get done and my dishes didn't get done. I had to prioritize my time with my family and I had to be real and honest with them, and they were okay with it. They didn't run away and hide, they identified with it and they were okay with that. How much personal development I really do. That's another one that I've shared with my team. Like, I will be honest, like, I listen to PD like crazy, like it's going out of style with my Bluetooth in. And I tell people sometimes 30 minutes isn't enough for me because I really have to work on myself. And other coaches will identify and be like, oh my heck, Like, I need that. I thought I was crazy because I wasn't getting enough out of 30 minutes or, 15 minutes. How many hours a day you work? You guys, you have to be honest with your coaches, especially the ones that are pushing for it. You can't work 6 hours a day and tell someone they can build a business like you did in 2 hours a day. Like, you have to really let them know. And even if you're working it in the mom cracks, figure it out. Like, figure out what you're really working, because there's people that genuinely want to know, how many hours a day are you working and what can I do? How can I build that? So that's something that I've done and shared with people, and they're like, then it clicks in their brain like, hey, I want to build at this pace. I can help you do this. Let's see. Okay, so this is kind of the big one I wanted to share for like what I've done. The last couple months, I was really sick and I just had a lot going on, and I was like so worried. Like, I told Brittany, I was like, I don't think I'm going up in ranks like for elite. I was so worried. I didn't even know, like, I hit SC5, like I've never hit SC5, and I was just beating myself up. And then I'm like, I looked at where I was at, and I was like, why did I grow? Like, how did I move up in rank? Like, how did I have coaches advance? Like, my mind was just boggled. And then I thought about it and I was like, okay, I told my coaches what I was going through. I have like a leaders page. I told my leaders exactly what I was going through. I was honest. I told them about my doctor's appointments. I told them about my medicine. I told them about how I was feeling. I asked them, like, it's hard to ask for help, you guys, it stinks. But I asked them to step up in different areas and share responsibilities, to get on calls, to, post stuff, whatever. And I looked back at that and I was like, you know what? I let them help me. And they did. It ended up in the numbers. It turned out they rose, they rose to the occasion because I was vulnerable enough to share those parts of me with them. So that's how I've been vulnerable with my team. And just a couple things about how I've been vulnerable in my business. This has been huge for my business. Making a video about my journey with my Crohn's disease. Now, you don't have to have a disease to be vulnerable or to be successful in this business. You don't have to be sick. But just your story, like, what have you overcome? Making a video about that has been huge for my business. I have people still message me about that video and connect with me in so many different levels. So whatever your story is, your niche market, whatever you write down and discover about yourself, make a video about it and share that with people. Another one is social media posts. So like awareness months, like if you, so there's a Crohn's disease awareness month, or like I've had several miscarriages. So like this month is like pregnancy and infant awareness loss month. So I post about it. I share that. It's hard. I don't want to talk about the fact that I've had these struggles necessarily, but when I do, the response is tremendous. I have people come out of the woodworks and comment on my post and give me encouragement. And that's just more relationships and more friendships to be built there. So share, don't be afraid to share that. And then in my challenge group, something that I didn't always do, I wanted to be the perfect coach. I wanted them so badly to love the heck out of me and think that I was like superwoman. But I started being really raw and honest on my off days, my pictures and my videos. They want to know that you're human and that you're on this journey with them. I mean, they want a leader. They want to know they can get results, and you got to show them those results. But they also want to know that they can rise above their struggles, like you're rising above your struggles, and make their goals, reach their goals. And I really think that showing those times of struggle, it can help your challengers triumph and know that they can achieve those things even though they're not perfect. So yes, let me just look here.
Kiana has a question.
Yes.
My daughter is watching a YouTube video. Sorry guys if you hear that. Can you share? I think that's one of my big areas that I've been starting to do, Breezie. But I've had this I don't even know, the last 6 months, I gained 10 pounds on and off. And like, I just keep losing 5 and gaining 5 and losing 5 and gaining 5. And it's been so frustrating for me. And I'm starting to share that with my challengers. But can you tell me how you felt like you've been vulnerable with your challengers? And is it, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me get this. Hold on, baby. Let me turn this down. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Is it like through a post or through a video, or like what exactly are you just saying? Like, here, guys, here's where I'm at, because I've done that. But then I just feel like the next week, here's where I'm at. Over the weekend, I gained the 3 pounds back. And I'm totally a challenger myself. And I'm like, that's where I struggle, because I'm like, you know, like you said, like I want to be real and raw, but I also want to be the leader that they know that these programs work. Does that make sense? So where's your balance with that, Breezie?
Okay, so that's actually, I've totally had that struggle this year, because it was like, okay, I just posted that I gained 10 pounds. And then a few months later, I'm like, crap, okay, well, and then I post, I lost 7. Well, man, I just did another round of steroids and I gained 10 more pounds. Like, and so I've just kind of shared the journey, and I know it's hard, and you really have to find your own balance. Some of these posts have been public on social media, and those are the ones that I do get a huge response. But I'll be honest, I'll be like, I'll bring up the fact, like, yeah, I'm a health and fitness coach. Like, I'm like, yes, I am, but this is me. I'm not making excuses. These aren't my excuses. This is my real life. Like, this is what's happening. And I think this is the key. I have every intention of fixing this, and I'm on my journey to be the best. And so, if you can acknowledge your journey and your process and let people know that, you're not giving up or you're not making an excuse. And I think it's just kind of how you word it and how you put it out there. And you'll find that people will lift you up and they'll accept you and they'll be okay with that. They'll cheer you on. And it feels like it feels funny to me to like get cheered on, I'm like, I'm supposed to be cheering people on, but sometimes it's okay to let people cheer you on. And, I mean, you don't want to like post a pound by pound, discourse of what's going on. But I mean, you'll find your balance, I think, and just let people know that you're not giving up, I think, is the key. Okay. I just wanted to share this last little bit, and then I'd love more questions and stuff. So just one thing, make sure that, as you do post like over social media, I just kind of talked about this to Kiana's question, make sure you breadcrumb it. You don't want to overwhelm people with, a sob story or excuses, but being vulnerable is about connecting. So, your challengers and your coaches are going to have these different struggles that you're having. And so if you can share that, you're going to be able to connect with them on different levels and really solidify that relationship. And when we're vulnerable, our businesses, with our businesses, then we grow as a person. And then our team will follow suit and grow too. And that's really kind of what I've seen it happen in my business. And then just this last little bit, I love, if you guys remember the National Wake Up Call with Summer Tucker, I think she nailed it when she said, there's only one of you, only one. You have to have the courage to share who you are, take the time to share your story with people like you, and let them peel back the pieces of an onion. As you do that, you will give people hope. You will gain trust, loyalty, a piece of their heart. If you believe in people, add value to people, be genuine, you will be successful. And really, I think that's what coaching is all about, discovering ourselves, overcoming these trials, and sharing that with people in hopes that they're going to be inspired to change their lives, whether, through the coaching business or as a challenger. And it's as we can be vulnerable ourselves and with them, that's really, in essence, what happens. So that is all I have. You guys have any questions or discussion?
That was awesome.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Jump in.
I almost didn't get on this call today because I've been feeling very vulnerable this morning. But you speak my language, Breezie, like 100%. And I actually posted a video on a page today, just that real, raw, genuine, just because I'm feeling like that too. And the more I do that, it's crazy. Just this morning, I've gotten just tons of response from that, just to share with my struggles. because I spoke at Super Saturday in Minneapolis this weekend. And the whole intent of me speaking was not to say, look at what I've done and look at what you can do, but more of, here's what I did and here's what I struggled with. And it's okay that if you have these struggles too, and that is what connects people. That's what makes people feel, oh my gosh, that's normal. Now, some people will be driven by people that make, 10-star in a year, but most people are going to connect with the person that fell out of 5-star and fell out of, elite or whatever. And they're going to make it's going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, she's done really well, but she struggled. I guess I can do that too. And so I really just wanted to thank you for this call, because it's just, it completely speaks my language. And I know on our team, we talk about this all the time. We encourage our coaches to be very vulnerable. We encourage our coaches to really share their struggles, because without struggles, I'm laughing because it's like, we had an hour conversation before this call, because this is exactly what we're going through right now. So thank you, Breezie.
Thank you. I love that. I really appreciate that.
I think the biggest thing here is you're all not alone. I know, obviously I talked to each of you individually, but I promise you, this is your opportunity to really put it out there and let your coaches know what you are going through. And I know that is the hardest thing, but like what Breezie said, they'll come together and they will love on you like you need to be loved. And they will give you what you need, and they'll see you as a real person. I think that's, the most important. You're not this elusive cloud in the sky that's just amazing. And, well, you are amazing, of course, but, it just shows that you are real.
And I just want to share something else. I learned from the best, you guys. Brigitte is amazing at this, and something she had us do, and something that I do on and off with my coaches as well, is we would check in, like an accountability check-in to our, our diamonds page. But in that, it was so much more than a 3 vital behavior check-in. It was like she was sharing what she struggled with that day and what her goals were. And then, Missy's in there sharing these things. And I'm like, oh my heck, if she's struggling with that, I'm normal, I'm human. And, all these other people that I look up to, and I'm just like, okay, I've got this, I can do this. And so I think that I loved what you said about, Rhonda, about encouraging vulnerability in your team, because if you can encourage your coaches to come out of their shells like that, then, and it not be a comparing atmosphere, but just a loving, motivating, encouraging atmosphere like that, it's huge. And that was a game changer for me as a brand new baby diamond coach, seeing all these other people, in her diamond page posting about the realness and the rawness of life of a coach, and how it's working for them. That was huge for me. So I love that. People see the glory, but they don't see the story. I love that.
Is there anything else that you guys want to collaborate on or bring to the table? Anything that you're feeling like something that you should take to your team, but you're just having a hard time, moving forward with it, or anything you want to talk about?
I just wanted to share that I recently did that too, because I've been I had a really strong year, and then here towards the end, it's like, oh, I feel like it's crumbling apart, and I feel like it's part of, it's the fall and it's a harder season, but I was really down on myself. But I just shared that with my leaders. I have a leaders team, and I told them, look, guys, I started 6-star. I went from 1, I went to 3, I went to 4, I'm back to 1. And their responses were there. A lot of them were like, wow, thank you so much for sharing. And I didn't realize how much that was going to help them realize that I'm human too. And I wanted to share that with them, because a lot of my leaders in there are the ones who dropped their ring, which was making me go, like this. And I wanted them to feel like it happens. It happens to you. It happens to me. It happens to everyone. It's kind of like just one of the things of the business. And I feel like it really helped them see that it happens to everyone. And that kind of encouraged me to just keep being a little more vulnerable with them and just share my struggles, like Breezie was saying. So I love this call. It's like, hey, I'm not alone.
It's awesome. Anybody else? Did you understand who Brene Brown was, Leticia?
Yes, I wrote it down.
Okay, she's incredible. Like, oh my gosh, The Gift of Imperfection. That's the book I read last year, and I reread it this year. And it just spoke to my soul. And I know when I talked to Breezie last time, she's like, she has a new one. And I was like, okay, wait, what? So dying to get that one, but amazing, amazing books.
If you ever want to watch just Brene Brown, she has a 20-minute TED Talk on vulnerability. It is the best. It is the best. Just look up Brene Brown TED Talk.
Awesome. We can post that in the group too. That'd be awesome. Yay. Well, Breezie, is there anything else that you want to kind of talk about? Anything else at all?
I just kind of want to add to what Letitia said. She mentioned, what she said to her coaches. And I think as we build those relationship with our coaches, if we can identify what their goals are and, really what our team's working for, then we can kind of be prompted to share certain parts of our journey and our struggle with them. And I know that's happened to me a lot. Like a coach will message me with something and then I'll be like, okay, this would be a really good post because I don't think I've shared this part of my coaching journey. So really kind of listen to your coaches and what their struggles are because, that might give you an idea to post about and to share, make a video about in your team page because, they need to see how you got through it, how you rose above, or how you're still working through it at the moment and to know that they're not alone. So I really like that. I really appreciate your guys' feedback and getting on this call. It was really scary for me to do. So thank you.
It was the perfect topic for you. It was amazing.
Does anyone struggle with what to post and what, with your leaders versus your team, or do you just post the same stuff? This is a constant on the same part of being vulnerable. I feel like I do a pretty good job with my bigger team, but I think with the leaders, it's just do I post something even more, you know what I mean? As a leader being more vulnerable or, and I know that it just takes time, but I'm just wondering, do you post different stuff, all it's different types of topics to just your leaders? Or are you, I feel like if I'm being vulnerable, she says no. If I'm being vulnerable with my team, it might be a different type of vulnerability than just my leaders. Does that make sense? But I'm admitting this, being vulnerable to you guys. I don't do I do very good in private messages with my coaches and I'm checking in with them all the time. But as for a leader's page, I don't do a very good job of keeping up on that because I feel like I put it all into my team page. Does that make sense? And so are you just vulnerable in both places or are you kind of doing the same stuff?
So for me, what I do, anyone chime in because I don't have it figured out, but I actually do better being vulnerable in my leaders page because they've kind of declared their goals and their aspirations to me, and they've been showing up for it, I guess. And so it's almost easier for me in there to be vulnerable with them, with posts and, sharing things, and sharing my goals and stuff. I mean, and in my personally sponsored coach page, I have a team page and it's personally sponsored page. I think I'm probably a little bit more easily identifying with my personally sponsored coaches and sharing more in there. But I mean, I think that I don't know, guys, what do you think? I think that there's maybe a level, you know what I mean? That you do with people who show up and tell you that they're pushing for it. You might be able to be a little bit more open about things with them. Your dishes aren't going to get done or whatever, as opposed to a brand new baby coach where you need to be I didn't hit Success Club, it's okay or whatever, you know what I mean? Or Success Club 10, you can fail. I don't know. I'm better with leaders personally. Yeah, I do share a lot of the same things though. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was just thinking about that before Kiana asked it, because when I shared that about dropping rank, I shared it only with my leaders. Then I feel like, should I share it with my whole team? But usually my most vulnerable posts, I usually just share those with my leaders. I don't know why. I feel like they will understand better because there are different plays compared to a brand new baby coach. But I do share different posts, when I share with my leaders, not just vulnerable posts, but it's just if I find something and it's more geared towards leaders, I'll just share that with leaders because I don't want to share it in my whole group, Kiana, and just kind of overwhelm the new baby coaches. But that's just me. And then I go back and forth well, maybe I should share it with everyone. I don't know.
But, also, I'll just chime in, Kiana. One thing I've been trying to do too is giving my leaders the opportunity to shine within their coaches. So within their own business center, like within their own teams, letting them have that chance to be vulnerable with their coaches. So I find that if I'm vulnerable with my leaders, then that trickles down into their teams. And then they're the ones that's leading that vulnerability step, and then their coaches can look up to them, and then they can have that connection point with their leader. So I try to share, like, probably maybe twice a month I'll share something. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. I'll share something really important in the big group, but for the most part I just share my ins and outs with my leaders, and then I am kind of expecting them to let that trickle into their own relationships with their coaches. That makes sense.
Thanks for sharing that, Kim. That's awesome. Anything else from you ladies? Can I just take a minute and brag on all of you? Like, all of you are amazing leaders. Like, everybody I have on here you're all who I love to work with and I love to see. And Kim, I finally actually got to meet you finally at leadership, which was so cool because I know she's in Hawaii. So sometimes, hours are a little bit different than out here on the West Coast, I guess you would say. But all of you are so incredible. And I just want you to truly believe in yourself. And I hope Super Saturday kind of lit a fire underneath you, knowing that you can do it. And it's all about staying in phase one. It's about planting the seed. Because in this business, it's easy to forget that you're the expert. But I promise you, you are. And, you may not see what's happening right now, but I promise you, January 1st, you are the expert. You are that guru. And Raina Odell spoke in Huntington Beach, and I loved what she said. And she shared her story, and I've never heard her story because she's new to our West region. But I thought it was so cool because she sat down with Amy Silverman, and this was before she was in the top 10. This was before Raina was in the top 10. And she asked Amy, she said, Amy, what are you doing? Like, what is it that is making you so successful? And she just bluntly looked at her and said, you know what? I stay in phase one. And Raina's like, what? Like, that's your secret? She said, yes, I stay in phase one. I always stay in phase one no matter what, because that makes me be a better me. That makes me help coaches. That helps me invite more. And so Raina walked away with that and plugged right in, and now she's in the top 10. So what I would challenge each of you is, you know what? You are incredible. You are amazing, and you will be exactly where you want to be. Phase one, yes. Kim, great question. So Carl talked about it. Hey, you're okay. You're okay. Carl talked about it on the video at Super Saturday. And it was basically just staying in phase one is the 3 vitals. And it is not forgetting what it took you to get where you're at as a 5-star diamond coach. It is waking up with a pep in your step, doing the 3 vitals diligently, becoming a better you, because after all, you can't change anybody but yourself. And so it's really just staying in that phase. And it's not forgetting what made you get there, right? Because as a leader, we naturally shift our focus to team. But unfortunately, we have to add newness to our team for it to grow and to conquer and to not to be stagnant. So he was just saying, stay in phase one so you plant that seed, especially right now when you're not seeing the fruit of the labor, right? You'll see the fruit of labor January 1st, regardless, because you are the gurus, you are the experts. But what would it mean to you if you saw a huge amount of growth because you planted the seed now, and now you're not only looked at as the nutrition fitness expert, but the person that will help women create a business from home? What would that look like? So that was a great question, Kim, because I know everybody's probably like, wait, what? But that was what it was all about. So I want you all to know that you are incredible leaders. I love working with each of you. I think you are on just the verge of such amazing success, and I don't want you to give up. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't give up. You have only a couple months left to prove this month or this year strong. And if you're not where you want to be, that's okay. Wipe the slate clean, draw a line in the sand, and start fresh, because what you do right now will set you up for success in 2016. Yeah. And just know that I'm there for you. Honestly, I've walked so many of you and every other coach off of cliffs this last couple of weeks because we start to doubt ourselves, right? It's coming to the end and we're like, we don't know if we're putting the effort. But I promise you, you are. Just stay positive. dig into personal development like it is nobody's business. And this is the same thing I've said to so many of you. Write I am statements. I am an elite coach. I am a 5-star diamond. You are a 5. I am a 6, 7, 8. I don't care what it is. A 10-star diamond. Write those I am statements so you start believing it. That way that doubt clears out and you have a clear vision of where you're going. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. I just love you all. Thanks for taking your time today. Thank you, Breezie. Amazing talk. We all needed to hear it. And honestly, stay in phase 1. Become the best you, the best version of you there is, because I promise you that is what duplicates. Okay, coaches. You're all beautiful. Have a great day, a glorious Monday, and I'll see you all next week, okay?
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you, Breezie. You did amazing, honey.